Imagine a 94-year-old Japanese doctor walking into the hospital every morning, calm, smiling, coat perfectly pressed, ready to perform surgery. Not because he has to, but because he can. His hands are steady, his mind sharp as ever, his energy more youthful than some people half his age. Now here's the fascinating part. It's not luck and it's not genetics. These doctors have spent their lives practicing the same quiet rituals, day after day, decade after decade. No miracle pills, no extreme diets, just a way of living that keeps their bodies light and their spirits clear. Researchers at Tokyo Medical University followed 847 Japanese men and women who lived past 100. And what they discovered flipped the whole idea of healthy eating upside down. It wasn't about what they ate, no fancy superfoods, no expensive supplements, but how they ate, when they ate, and how much. You see, we spend so much of our lives chasing the next health trend. Keto, intermittent fasting, antioxidants, thinking the secret to longevity hides in some exotic food or new discovery. But for these Japanese elders, the truth is beautifully simple. They treat every meal like a conversation with their body, respectful, mindful, and unhurried. They stop eating before they feel full. They drink water as if it's medicine. They eat with gratitude, not guilt. And maybe that's why, even at 90 or 100, they still wake up with purpose. Because real youth, as they've shown us, isn't something you preserve in a bottle. It's something you practice every single day through the quiet choices that no one else sees. There's a rhythm to life that most of us have forgotten. We rush breakfast, snack between meetings, grab something late at night while scrolling our phones, and call it a day. But for the oldest Japanese doctors, eating isn't something squeezed into the cracks of their schedule. It is the schedule. They follow what scientists now call a time-restricted eating window, about 10 to 12 hours of nourishment and 12 to 14 hours of rest. No complicated diets, no counting calories, just giving the body time to digest, repair, and restore. Dr. Yoshinori Nagumo, one of Japan's leading longevity researchers, found something remarkable about this pattern. When you stop eating for a period of time, not starving, just resting, your cells start cleaning themselves. The process is called autophagy, which literally means self-eating. But don't let the word scare you. It's your body's way of throwing out old, broken parts and rebuilding them fresh and new. Think of it like housekeeping for your cells. When your digestive system takes a break overnight, your body finally gets to sweep the floor, wash the windows, and repair what's been worn out. A long-term study from the University of Tokyo followed over 2,000 adults. Those who naturally gave their bodies a 12-hour break between dinner and breakfast had 43% fewer metabolic problems and 37% lower inflammation. That's massive. And it's all from something that costs nothing. The typical rhythm looks like this: breakfast around 7 a.m., lunch at noon, dinner before 7 p.m., and then nothing but warm water or tea until the next morning. It's not a punishment. It's a kindness. You're giving your body the quiet hours it needs to heal. And here's what often surprises people. Within 2 weeks, most say they wake up lighter, clearer, and more alert. Sleep deepens, cravings fade, the fog lifts. It's as if your body finally says, "Thank you for letting me rest." I've told many of my older patients this truth. You don't need to eat less. You just need to eat within the hours that honor your body's natural rhythm. The Japanese centenarians know it well. The real secret to longevity isn't how much food you can give your body, but how much time you can give it to recover. Let's move into something that almost no one talks about. Something so simple, you might laugh at first. It's the temperature of your food. For decades, Japanese doctors who've studied longevity have noticed a strange pattern. The longest living people in Japan, especially in Okinawa, almost never eat cold meals. Even in the heat of summer, they'll sip warm tea instead of iced water, or have a bowl of gently heated miso soup instead of a chilled drink. At first, that sounds trivial, right? But science now backs it up. Dr. Makoto Suzuki, who spent over 40 years studying Okinawan centenarians, found that those who regularly consume warm food and drinks had far fewer digestive problems and lower inflammation throughout their bodies. Here's why. When you eat or drink something cold, your stomach has to work overtime just to bring it up to body temperature. That takes energy. Energy your body could be using for repair, immune defense, or keeping your heart strong. It's like throwing ice cubes into a pot of soup. Every time you do, it has to start heating all over again. Now imagine doing that to your body 3 times a day, every day, for years. No wonder so many of us feel tired, bloated, or sluggish after meals. In traditional Japanese medicine, there's a saying, keep your inner fire alive. Modern research calls that your digestive efficiency, the smooth rhythm of enzymes and temperature that helps your body absorb nutrients. When you shock your system with ice-cold drinks, those enzymes slow down by nearly 40%. That's like turning down the heat while trying to cook dinner. But when you start your day with something warm, a glass of comfortably warm water or tea, your entire system wakes up gently. It's a signal to your body. The day begins. Let's move. Let's digest. Let's renew. I've seen this transformation myself. People who used to complain about constant bloating or indigestion started replacing their cold drinks with warm tea or water. And within a week, they said things just felt lighter, easier, more natural. So maybe health doesn't begin with what's on your plate. Maybe it begins with temperature, with warmth, inside and out. Because when your body feels warm, it can finally relax. And when it relaxes, it heals. There's something deeply poetic about a Japanese meal. Not just in the presentation, though yes, every bowl and plate feels like a quiet piece of art, but in the balance of color. The Japanese call it goshiki, or the 5 colors of health: red, yellow, green, white, and purple. Every meal, even the simplest one, carries a bit of each. Not out of perfectionism, but instinct. It's a rhythm of nature that's been passed down for generations. When Dr. Setsu Yamada studied the villages in Japan where cancer rates were mysteriously low, sometimes 70% lower than the national average, he discovered that these people weren't chasing superfoods. They were simply eating the rainbow every single day. A little red tomato or strawberry for the heart, a piece of golden squash for the eyes, a handful of green spinach for detox and renewal, a sliver of garlic or mushroom for strength and immunity, a few bites of purple eggplant or blueberries to keep the brain young. What amazed scientists is that these colors don't just add up, they work together. The vitamin C from red peppers helps you absorb the iron in greens. The healthy fat from avocado makes the orange pigments, carotenoids, easier to absorb. It's like an orchestra where every instrument amplifies the others. And yet the people who practice this don't think of it as science. They think of it as common sense. When they look at their plate, they don't count macros or calories. They simply ask, is it colorful? Is it alive? In my years of working with older adults, I've seen something beautiful happen when they start doing this. Their energy returns slowly but surely. The dullness in their skin softens into glow. They don't just look better. They feel more vibrant, connected, and curious again. Maybe that's what food was always meant to be. Not a math equation, but a quiet celebration of life itself. So tomorrow, when you prepare your meal, don't worry about perfection. Just add one more color to your plate. Because in the end, longevity isn't built from restriction. It's built from variety. There's an old Okinawan saying that's been whispered at dinner tables for centuries. Hara hachi bu. It means eat until you're 80% full. At first, it sounds almost too simple, like something your grandmother might have said. But behind those words lies one of the most profound longevity secrets ever discovered. When researchers visited Okinawa, home to the world's highest concentration of centenarians, they noticed something remarkable. People there didn't eat until they were stuffed. They stopped when they were satisfied, light but content. Their average calorie intake was only about 1,800 to 1,900 a day, compared to nearly 3,000 in the West. Yet they had far fewer cases of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Dr. Bradley Wilcox, who led the Okinawa centenarian study, found that this gentle restraint activates special genes called sirtuins, the longevity genes. These genes reduce inflammation, repair cells, and keep the heart young. In other words, every time you leave a little space in your stomach, you're leaving room for your body to heal itself. But this isn't about counting calories or denying pleasure. It's about awareness. Eating slowly enough to feel your body say, that's enough. Putting your fork down between bites, savoring the flavors instead of rushing through them. It takes about 20 minutes for your brain to realize you've had enough to eat. And most of us eat so fast that we pass that point long before our brain can catch up. That's why the Japanese, even children, learn to pause, breathe, and honor each bite. It's not a diet. It's a mindset, one that says, I respect my body enough not to overwhelm it. In a world that tells us more is always better, Harahachi-bu is quiet rebellion. It reminds us that strength doesn't come from abundance. It comes from balance. And maybe that's why these elders live so long, because they've mastered the art of enough. There's a reason every traditional Japanese meal feels alive, not just with color, but with something deeper, something quietly working beneath the surface. It's fermentation. In the West, we often think of bacteria as something to fight. In Japan, they think of it as something to feed. Every bowl of miso soup, every serving of natto, every small dish of pickled vegetables carries millions of living organisms, the kind that heal from the inside out. Dr. Satoshi Sasaki from Tokyo University calls this the invisible medicine. When scientists studied the gut bacteria of people over 100 years old in Japan, they discovered something astonishing. Their microbiome, the community of bacteria in the gut, looked completely different from that of younger adults. More diversity, more resilience, more life. Those bacteria were producing natural compounds that modern science is only beginning to understand. Short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation, B vitamins for energy, vitamin K2 for bone strength, even neurotransmitters like GABA that calm the mind and improve sleep. It's as if nature hid an entire pharmacy inside a spoonful of fermented food. But here's the beauty of it. These elders don't see miso or natto as functional foods. They see them as friends, old familiar ones they meet at the table each day. A bit of miso in warm water in the morning, a few bites of pickled daikon with lunch, maybe a spoonful of natto with rice at dinner. Tiny habits done quietly every day, yet their effects ripple through the entire body. Western researchers found that people who eat fermented soy daily have up to 27% lower risk of stroke and 50% less osteoporosis. But ask an Okinawan grandmother why she eats them, and she won't talk about percentages. She'll simply smile and say, "It helps my stomach stay happy." That's wisdom disguised as simplicity. Because when your gut is balanced, your mood steadies, your immune system strengthens, and your whole body moves in harmony again. So if you ever want to start small on the path to better health, start with a spoonful of something alive. Because when you feed your bacteria, you're really feeding your future self. Here's a secret so subtle, most people miss it their entire lives. It's not about what you eat, but the order you eat it in. Japanese longevity doctors call it the sequence solution. And once you understand it, you'll never look at a meal the same way again. Dr. Tashimas Takanaga from Osaka Prefecture University spent years studying how the body reacts when you change the sequence of your food. The discovery was breathtaking in its simplicity. If you start your meal with vegetables, then move to protein, and save carbohydrates for last, your blood sugar doesn't spike. It rises slowly, gently, like the tide. Why does that matter? Because those spikes, the roller coaster of sugar and insulin, are what silently age your cells, damage blood vessels, and make you feel tired after eating. But when you eat in the right order, something magical happens inside. The fiber in vegetables creates a soft, natural barrier in your small intestine. When protein comes next, it signals your body to release GLP-1, a hormone that slows digestion and keeps you full longer. By the time you reach the rice or bread, your body is ready. The sugars are absorbed slowly, steadily, without chaos. It's like teaching your body to breathe calmly, but through food. In one study, adults who followed this vegetable-first habit reduced their blood sugar spikes by over 50% without changing what they ate, only the order. And here's what's even more fascinating. People who eat this way naturally eat less, not because they're forcing themselves to, but because by the time they reach the heavier foods, their body already feels satisfied. Watch a traditional Japanese meal, and you'll see it unfold this way almost unconsciously. A small bowl of greens, a few bites of tofu or fish, and finally a gentle portion of rice. There's rhythm, not restriction. I've told many of my patients this. Don't rush to cut out your favorite foods. Just eat them last. Let your vegetables lead, let your protein follow, and let your carbs wait their turn. Within days, your energy feels smoother, your mind clearer. No more post-meal crashes or cravings. It's not a diet, it's choreography. A dance between your plate and your biology. And once you learn the rhythm, your body never forgets it. Every morning, before the world wakes, the oldest doctors in Japan begin their day the same quiet way. No coffee, no breakfast, just warm water. It sounds almost too simple to matter. But this small ritual, practiced faithfully for decades, is what they call the gentle awakening of the body. Dr. Hiroshi Yamashita from Nagoya University has spent years studying this habit. His team found that drinking about 640 milliliters, 2.5 cups, of warm water right after waking triggers a cascade of healing processes. Think about what happens while you sleep. Your body repairs, cleans, and recycles itself. But all those metabolic wastes, toxins, and cellular debris are waiting in line to leave. When you drink warm water first thing in the morning, you open the door. You flush the system. It activates something called the gastrocolic reflex, the signal that tells your intestines it's time to move. Digestion wakes up, circulation improves, even your brain receives more oxygen. In one 20-year study, adults who practiced this ritual every morning had 37% lower all-cause mortality, fewer heart attacks, fewer strokes, and less kidney disease. And no, it doesn't have to be fancy. Not lemon water, not mineral water, just comfortably warm, clean water. The temperature matters. Cold water shocks the body. Warm water welcomes it. It's like greeting an old friend with kindness instead of surprise. Drinking it all within 5 minutes of waking gives your body a gentle jump start, raising metabolism for the next hour and helping your organs reset for the day. Then simply wait about 45 minutes before eating breakfast, letting the body complete its morning cleansing. Many people report that within a week, their skin looks brighter, digestion feels easier, and that heavy morning fatigue begins to fade. One of Dr. Yamashita's patients, a 70-year-old woman with chronic arthritis, reported her joint pain dropping by 90% after just 3 months. And here's the beautiful part. This ritual doesn't require wealth or time or youth, only attention and consistency. Because the secret to living long isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things, quietly, faithfully, every morning. So tomorrow when you wake, skip the rush to caffeine. Start with warmth, a few sips of stillness, a moment of care for the body that carries you. It's not just water, it's renewal disguised as simplicity. When you step back and look at it all, the water, the warmth, the colors, the calm, you begin to realize something profound. The Japanese doctors who live past 100 aren't chasing longevity. They're living harmony. Every choice they make, what time they eat, how much, the order, the temperature, feels small, even ordinary. But those tiny decisions, repeated for decades, form the quiet architecture of a long, peaceful life. They remind us that health isn't built in hospitals or pharmacies. It's built in kitchens, in the steam of a morning cup, in the silence between bites, in the simple act of knowing when to stop. Modern medicine now confirms what they've known all along. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need perfect genetics. You just need rhythm, warmth, awareness, and respect for the body that serves you. Because longevity isn't about adding more years to your life. It's about adding more life to your years. So maybe tonight, you'll sit down to dinner and do one thing differently. Start with your vegetables. Put your fork down between bites. Stop when you feel light instead of full. And tomorrow morning, greet your body with warm water. Not out of duty, but out of gratitude. These are not rules, they're reminders that your body already knows how to heal, how to thrive, how to age gracefully. It just needs the right conditions and a little patience. And as those Japanese doctors in their 90s still walk, still smile, still serve others, they whisper a message the world has nearly forgotten. Small things done daily can change everything. So start small, start warm, start today.